Good evening and welcome to another instalment of the Tuesday Night Live podcast with myself, Captain Goodspeed, and my wonderful co-host, Mr. TIJ or Toby Jones, on the day of the release of Tennis World Tour. It's been a pretty crazy day for me and early morning as well, staying up at midnight has somewhat paid off, I think, to say the least. But we'll not talk about that too much, because I know Toby's salty about one of two things today involving me. So we'll let him sort of weep. But no, it's the 13th episode. I can't believe we've made it this far. But yeah, we've made it 13 episodes. Unlucky for some, hopefully lucky for us. How are you doing on this fine evening, Mr. TIJ?
Lovely. Seems like you've had a good day, and that's all that counts.
Well, there you go. There you go. Hello to Anton in the chat. How old are you? Well, I'm 20. And how old are you, Toby?
I'm 10.
He's 10. There you go. He's not, actually. Yeah. It would be pretty weird if I was doing a podcast with a 10-year-old. Some people would say he sounded like he was 10 about 6 months ago, but no.
Very careful.
Only joking. So there's basically only one topic tonight. Not a lot has happened. I know Emery's sort of thinking about the Arsenal move. It hasn't been confirmed yet. And obviously Pellegrini to West Ham as well. We'll probably talk about that next week or something, once everything's buttoned up, and we've got some sport to talk about. But yeah, we're going to be talking about both of our channels tonight. It's going to be a YouTube discussion, what our channel goals are, and you know, if any of you guys are interested, you can ask questions and stuff like that. But yeah, I guess we'll let Toby start. I know he said for me to start, but since he is the guest on the channel, why doesn't he start talking about his channel and his long-term goals for the channel? It is a little bit laggy on your website.
I know, I've just noticed that, actually. Just noticed that. I'll try and rectify that. Give me just a second. I should be alright. This caught me a bit on the doodah, this does.
Looks like
so,
I don't know.
Look, do we want to talk about the whole history?
Oh, so we're talking a history of channels as well.
Yeah.
Yeah? Well, yeah, we could go for it.
Let's go back to January 2012. Long time ago, I launched my first channel, which was Review TIJ. I think it might be better if you would sort of put the channel on your screen, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'll try and do that. Hold on.
Just thinking, if I share my screen, it's gonna have a,
it's gonna be laggy, basically. Right.
Yeah. I'll just
review
talk before you get
started.
Basically, I can't remember where the inspiration came from at first. I'm struggling to remember, to be honest. But I remember one of my friends did it, and did it for about 2 months. But let's say I probably outlasted him a little bit. But the first video I did was about International Cricket 2010, which, to be fair, at the time was quite a new game. I mean, it probably came out, September, October 2010? So you're talking maybe only a year old. And even though it seems ancient now, at the time, that's quite frightening, actually. Cricket Captain 2011 would have been...
Are we going date added oldest, by the way?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just checking.
As you can see, I know it's been 6 years, but all these videos did decently well. And, I did a few cricket episodes, and it actually ended up that my save had corrupted, and my save had gone. God knows what would have happened if that wouldn't have happened. I feel like that's the excuse for a lot of things when it comes to my YouTube channel. but
with cricket games.
I went and maybe whack yourself in the bottom left corner, Joe. I don't like it just being me.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Right,
and so we'll get
after
me
that,
up, and then I'll move over here.
After I did a bit of cricket, I moved on to FIFA, which at the time was FIFA 12. Did a few episodes on a Newcastle manager mode, but as well, I think I lost the save for that. So I'll tell you what, my retention save at getting saves was shocking. But then I moved on to Bolton manager mode, and that lasted for 22 episodes. So I'd say, for someone just starting YouTube, that's not too bad, is it? I then ended. You can see kind of where the sort of diversification comes from, if you want to call it that. Not meaning to be diversifying at all, but going absolutely bonkers. So I ended that manager mode, then went on to Football Manager, did 6 episodes on Football Manager, moved to the movies, did 6 episodes on that, and then moved to Formula 1 2012. Did a further episode on Cricket 2010. That got 12,000 views. I mean, we have to talk about this later, but I don't know why I ever dropped this channel, but hang on.
What got 1,000 views? Oh, 12,000 views. Okay,
yeah,
there we go.
The international cricket stuff. I've lost myself now. Then anyway, as we scrolled down, I moved on to for about a year or two, I think, a mix between FIFA and Formula 1 gameplay, a mix of league racing highlights, which I used to do at the time, and then we kind of moved on, to Formula 1. That was really my main focus all the way through. The FIFA started to drift out a little bit. We're talking 4 years ago now, but I did come out back to it with a series called Strengthening the Saints, which actually I believe is my best series I've ever made, and just purely because people enjoyed it. I've got consistent viewership on that. I mean, if we look at the views, obviously it's not respective, but whatever. It was 4 years ago. The first episode got 140.
I wish I knew where this was. Oh, there we go. Strengthening the Saints. I've got it.
141, 111, 88, and 93. So quite consistent viewership. And that was really good. What happened at the end of the season is we got relegated, but still, it was a brilliant it was a brilliant one season. And then after that, again, we moved on to sort of Formula 1 and FIFA, a bit of a mix. You can kind of see that throughout the sort of these 2 or 3 years on the channel, we've got pretty much F1 predominantly, but FIFA trickling in here and there. We've even got a bit of Football Manager trickling in as well, with manager switch-ups, so technically experiments. But throughout, as we scroll through, I stayed purely, really, to be honest, to Formula 1 for the most part. And again, FIFA 15, Burnley career mode, manager switch-ups, GTA stuff, and then pretty much, I can't believe how we got through it so quick, but that's 4 years. And obviously at the end it was 401 videos and I signed off. One of the reasons why I dropped that channel is that there was a massive problem. I got about 600 subscribers over the time, and I'd got a massive drift in even though it might not be shown from the views, I got a massive drift in my subscribers. I got sort of half of the base, which is Formula 1, and half the base, which is FIFA. And obviously I think you can talk about this brilliantly, with your section, because there's definitely a divide in your channel, isn't there, between Cricket Captain, Football Manager, Football Manager about 50, and there's Tennis World Tour, which is about 3,100. But the problem was, I just felt at the time, it was half FIFA, half F1. I thought, I just want to focus on F1. And the problems I'm going to be, I'm going to have 50% of inactive subscribers, I'm going to lose 300 subscribers, or something else is going to happen. So I thought, let's start from scratch. And technically, I was going on the basis that at least 2/3 of these people would subscribe to my new channel, which was TIJ. That didn't happen. That's probably the biggest regret I have of my YouTube career. I feel like a lot of my YouTube career is what could have been, which is a massive regret for me. I have to say, it's a massive regret and something that I look back on and think that's not great. So I'm trying not to do that so much now. I'm trying to, make decisions that I've thought about for a long time, rather than just spur into big decisions that can, change how my, YouTube career goes. Because I've been doing this for a long time, and the amount of work I've put in, the amount of videos I've done, it'd be a real shame to muck it all up. But after those 401 videos, we went to TIJ, which is my current channel.
I'm just going to get it up for you.
Okay.
Are we going date oldest again?
Yeah, we'll go with date oldest. So I ended that channel, and actually the new channel was called Review TIJ. The thing that I did on the old channel was just called it Inactive Review TIJ, which was probably a bit of a mistake, but at the same time I wanted people to know that it was me. I know Joe's not listening. He never listens.
I am listening. I am. I'm just replying to people in the chat because they're asking questions. So I'm trying to sort of keep people entertained. No, that was bad. No, I'm only
That
joking.
was a really rude comment.
I didn't mean it like that. That was just
Yeah. I know exactly what you meant. It's all right. But we launched that channel. We had our first video on Doritos Crash Course. I don't know why.
I mean, that just seems ridiculous, really. Considering if, like, looking at the next 15 videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we had a series called Formula One Quiz. As you can see, there's probably some of the best videos on my channel. As they, got 550, 527, and 332. And I also did a series called Sprint to the Finish, and that did fairly decently, I think I would say, over 100 views on most of the videos. But then, as you can see, quickly I drifted my focus again. What happened with F1 most years was that it just died by about December, so you kind of had to move on. So I moved on to a bully Let's Play, which I did, and even though I enjoyed it, it didn't really get too many views. But saying that, there were a few videos that jumped out and got decent views.
That's just like my LA Noir thing, which we'll probably see at some point. You'll see some videos just get a stupid amount of views, and don't know why.
Definitely. And then after Bully, we moved on to Thrillville Off the Rails. After 2 episodes of that, I don't quite remember what happened there, but I stopped that and went back to the F1 stuff. Did a sprint to the finish on F1 2015, and then I can't believe how quickly this is going to go, crazy. But I did a sprint to the finish, and then I did one more F1 quiz, and then I did something called the F1 Summer Championships, which is like a, Euro World Cup Championship thing on Formula 1.
That was quality, that, actually. I remember watching that last summer. It was quality.
And this was 2 years ago. This wasn't last summer. It was the summer before this one was.
Oh, right, okay. Right.
So I've actually done 3 of them now. I did the Formula 1 World Cup first and the Summer Championships twice. And although it was a lot of work, it was really rewarding, particularly in the first year. But after I'd done that, F1 2016 came. I did 2 videos on it, never really got started with a career mode. And then basically, after that inverted controls challenge, there wasn't a video for 3 months potentially. The F1 Manager thing was released in December, I want to say. And then there was nothing. Don't worry, I'll talk about exactly what video is meant to be after that in a second.
I was going to say, where did that go? But yeah.
There was a video after that which said au revoir. I think it was called au revoir. And it was me saying, it's been a long day, and I'm out now. But then I remember this was about December 2016. I was going to take my GCSEs in the May after this, so I decided, right, that's me done. And for a while, I thought, oh my god, for the first time, seriously, since I was 10, I was experiencing life at YouTube, and it was good. It was so good, and no part of me wants to come back. The minute I finished my exams, though, I thought, I've got to come back. I've got to come back. I've got to do something, because it feels like, all that work. And again, I rushed into a decision and came back. And after that, I did 2 series on the channel. I'm sure you'll remember this, Joe. Mm-hmm. This is probably where Joe started watching me religiously. Saying that, though, you probably did before. It was just the fact that I hardly released a video. So I did Simpson Hit and Run Let's Play and a Motorsport Manager Let's Play. Again, got bored with both of those, and we'll talk about boredom in series in a bit. And then after that came the very infamous Captain Goodspeed versus TIJ head-to-head draft challenge. Let's not talk about that. And then we had the Summer
especially the 5th match, which you didn't release on your channel, funnily enough.
Then we had the Summer Championships, which didn't go so well, actually, in terms of views, so that's a bit of a shame. Then we had a few F1 2017 videos, tried to get back onto the F1 grind. That didn't work. So there we go. If we look at that little Jurgen Klopp picture, I think that is probably the best. Sorry, I better read the comments. Don't be rude. Hello, Robbie. Nice to see you. I know you commented a few weeks ago. It's nice to see you. Aaron Hart, new Ports episode is out on Monday, I want to say. I am quite busy with exams, as Joe says at the moment. We'd love to know who this guy follows in F1 in real life. Me?
Yeah,
anyone?
Yeah.
Anyone but Hamilton. Max Verstappen.
And Nico Hulkenberg.
Max, it's all about Maxi B. And then this video here, changing flight path, less F1 content, lack of motivation. 100% the best video I've ever made, because it turned my focus from Formula 1 and FIFA, which, as you could clearly see there, I'd done since, 2012? And this was like 2017. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to play Football Manager 2017, which I did. I did 2 seasons.
I made a mistake here. I went under the video. Hold on. 2 seconds. Keep going. Keep going.
I did 2 seasons with Bournemouth. They went pretty well. People seem to enjoy it. Really, to be honest, it was a trial season for when I did my Football Manager 2018 content. Then that began, and really that's when it all started to get good, to be honest. Since I've started Football Manager content, I've nearly doubled the size of my channel in terms of subscribers. When I started the Football Manager stuff, it was on 290 subscribers. Now I'm on 478, which I think is fantastic. And I started with a beta series at Liverpool. That went really well. Did some team guides, which did decently.
They did, yeah, definitely.
When I look at that, I find it hard not to grin. I really do.
To the point where you're gonna do Premier League, Championship League, League Two, Conference, Conference North, Conference South, and I don't know, Serie A or something. All on the release day.
Yeah, definitely. But literally, the team guides was something that I just wanted to do to make sure there was more content on the channel. And then all of a sudden, I realised with Chelsea that, oh my god, this is a thing to do. And I started doing them, and if we scroll down, they all got over 100 views. With the West Brom one probably being the lowest. Beta finish, we went to Leipzig. We started a little silly FM11 thing, which was stupid. And then we went to Hensford. We had a really good run at Hensford, didn't we? We started Agent Under Fire.
Yeah.
Then we got to Christmas, 350 subscribers. And then I went down the road of streaming, which I think it's fair to say worked decently at the start, didn't it? It was, it was decent, but
it was pretty good, yeah.
It just wasn't the audience. Plus, my internet's not the greatest, so that kind of died down a bit. And then, when Hensford continued, we did start the Southampton Youth Challenge. It's a massive thing as well. The Southampton Youth Challenge is basically we couldn't sign any players over 25. All had to be youngsters. Turns out by November I was sacked. I remember speaking with you and going, oh my god, I don't know what to do now. But there was a job available at Portsmouth. And I took the Portsmouth job. In fact, when I said earlier that video was the best thing I ever made with the change of direction? Going to Portsmouth is the best thing I ever done. I think you can agree with that.
Yeah. Well, maybe Ashes cricket, but I feel like you just bypassed that, so...
Well, we'll talk about Ashes cricket in a minute. I feel like we're on the FM road at the moment.
Yeah.
But we did Portsmouth as well as some Hensford stuff. Talking about Hensford quickly, we did get sacked at the start of the 4th season, which is a real shame, to be honest, because we started that. I'm trying to think when we got sacked. Was it the 3rd season? I'm sure it was the 4th season, no? 3rd season? Jesus, I thought we did longer than that. Blimey. Then we got sacked by Hensford, so I focused fully on Football Manager, Portsmouth, sorry. Alongside this was the Joe Root Ashes career mode, which we did brilliantly.
It did, yeah.
And the Portsmouth stuff was doing really well. And then, unfortunately, we got to, I would reckon, if we looked at this, I would probably say up to when we got to the end of Season 4. Would you agree? At Portsmouth?
Yeah.
Then everything flopped a bit. Because I wanted the 2nd series to replace Ashes cricket, because what had happened is my save game had corrupted. Seems a little bit like 6 years ago, I know. Well, it hadn't corrupted, but it wasn't saving, so technically it had. So, but I wanted to start the 2nd series. Started that with Chelsea, and then hated that, and got really bored after 3 episodes. Then we left Bournemouth and went to Wolfsburg. That was the worst thing I've ever done. Went to Wolfsburg, and then I suddenly realised, no, I don't want to do this either. And then we went through a really daft period last month where we had a series called Zero to Hero. We did an episode with Crawley. That flopped. Then we did a few episodes of MotoGP. That flopped. And then we started a series called Retro Sunday. And up to now, that has done really well. And I've thoroughly enjoyed making that every week. And that's something for consistency. And I feel like over the last few weeks, we've got back to a bit of stability, which I think's nice. We've got Portsmouth restarting again, although maybe I could have scheduled that for after exams. We've also got a new career mode on Rory McIlroy PGA Tour style, which kind of what I'm trying to do is replicate what I had in that 2 month period of Portsmouth and Ashes, because I've got daily content. People were coming back to watch it. It was the biggest period of growth in my channel, and it was really good. I feel like with Retro Sunday, if it was only, if that's the only video going up a week, then people are going to start unsubscribing. But no, that's really up to now. I think probably if we look at my playlists, if we talk about my best series on the TIJ channel, it has to be Portsmouth. The worst things I've ever done, as I said, leave Portsmouth, probably shut down the Review TIJ channel.
Ever make contact with Captain Goodspeed?
Exactly. But really, that's really a flyby tour of what I've done. And I can appreciate, there's a lot there because, I've done a hell of a lot. And I'm going to be honest with you all. I'm very jealous of the man who's doing this podcast with me, because obviously I've been doing YouTube on and off. I think that's a fair statement. I haven't been doing it daily for 6 years, or else I would be crying by now. And he's what, 6 times bigger than me, 8 times.
And that's just height. Sorry.
And I would love one day to have a little bit of a spike like Joe, in height, yeah. But unfortunately, I haven't had it yet. So if we want to talk about goals, the goal would have to be to have a spike at some point. I would love it. But the problem with my content at the moment, there's only one game that comes out every year, and that's FM. And you've got that period between, November, maybe January, that stuff's really good, and then it dies down.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a problem. But no, that's an overview of my channel. There's not really much more to say. I suppose we'll hang over the next 20 minutes for you.
Oh dear. No, I appreciate what you said there. And looking back at your channel, I think you should honestly be very proud of what you've done. I think you've done a lot of good series, and you have got a lot of subscribers. I'm sure a lot of people would kill for nearly 500 subscribers, and very good work, and of course my wonderful co-host. But you've got a new subscriber in D-Jam, which is always good. So and he does some good videos as well. Actually, I watched his one on the England squad announcement, and he did sort of like a timeline of the day. It was really cool. But anyway, shall we talk about my channel? So here we are right now. I wonder if I can somehow get your Skype footage into. So if I copy this, hold on a second. I think I can get you into this browser view, and then if we paste that. Oh, look at this. Wonderful. There we go. We'll make it a bit smaller. There we go. We don't want you too big for your boots, do we? Right. So yeah, my channel started back in September. Well, it was September the 12th, 2015. And if we go to how do you sort it? I'm struggling to sort it here.
Gotta help you.
Uploads, I guess. Sort by. Here we go. Date added oldest. So, I started back on September the 12th, 2015. I've went into it before. There was a Windows update. It allowed you to capture your screen using the Windows 10 DVR, something like that. So I just did it and uploaded the video, and 300 people have watched that video now. I feel like it wasn't that 6 months ago. So maybe that's had a bit of a spike recently. But, people seem to watch it. I did Middlesbrough on Football Manager, which, contrary to popular belief, was the game that I started this channel for. And, it it was good doing FM15. I was at Middlesbrough, I think, one season. I did a bit like my current stream saver, Championship, the Champions League type thing. I started unemployed, ended up at Middlesbrough, got them promoted, and then I think Man City offered us a job after we finished 7th in the Premier League in our first season with Middlesbrough. So we managed Man City. It was a bit boring. I mean, 7 views on some of these, it's really raking in the views. And then I did Minecraft Story Mode. That was just the time that came out. I did the first 3 episodes of that.
I personally quite enjoyed that.
Yeah, the first episode of episode 2 actually got 1.5k views. That was mainly because I got up at like 7 o'clock in the morning to do it. Does that sound familiar? He's still doing it now. But yeah, there you go. And I remember specifically that FM16 came out, the beta, and I still hadn't finished my FM15 series, so I released the finale and then I released episode 1 pretty close afterwards. So I got 96 views on my finale to FM15, and it was called something like Goodbye FM15. There you go. There you go. I'd love to be getting 7 views on my vids. Well, let's go and click on OLP's video 7 times. Joe said earlier he'd be interested in that. Yeah, okay. And then the Everton project started, and that was FM16. I'd planned it for a while to do Everton. I'd even played as them on FIFA to prepare me knowledge for the squad and stuff. So, yeah, and, looking at some of these views now, I really don't know how I pulled it off. There's a famous story. I started FM16 with 12 subscribers, and by the new year, I think I got 75, which I was really proud of. And, looking at some of these viewing figures, I would be delighted with these for FM18. 5.1k for the first episode, 1.2, and I mean, I had rubbish equipment. The mic was terrible.
Hello, everyone!
I used to shout into the mic as well, because I thought I was being quiet when I was talking like this, so I was absolutely shouting when I was doing it. It's really embarrassing if you go back, but you subscribe because Lelujo recommended my channel. Well, thank you very much, Lelujo. I don't know when that happened. Maybe it was when we did the draft. I can't remember, but no, thank you, Aaron. And we continued with Everton until about January, I think. We did 7 seasons with them, and it was a pretty good run. 52 episodes, or 53 episodes, because I did a 2-part finale, I remember. I sort of finished the series off winning a 2nd consecutive Champions League, which was great. And then we did a part 2 where I simulated 10 years into the future to see if our legacy had stayed. And they actually ended up winning championships and stuff. Not the championship, the Premier League. So yeah, I thought that was quite cool. And at this point, I wasn't really basing my videos on anybody else's. I was just being myself. And I think this is what's good about early YouTube. You are just generally doing your own thing. I think over time you pick up things you like from other YouTubers and nick them, basically. I don't know about you, Toby, but I certainly do that sometimes. Prison Architect we did for a little bit, 5 episodes. It wasn't a very long series, but it's not the sort of series you can do 50 episodes on. That was quite fun. It got a decent amount of views. Then we did... The biggest mistake of FM16 was probably stopping Everton, because after that it didn't really pick up. We did a Youth Academy Challenge with Shields, South Shields, which is my hometown, before they were trendy to support. And it did pretty well, over 100 views per episode. It ended after about... what was it, 11 episodes, because I got sacked stupidly. I got something like 4 promotions in a row. I got off to a bad start in the conference and they sacked me, so, But one of the best things I ever did for this channel was maths videos. And I was teaching a group of year 11s when I was in my last year of 6th form. I was teaching them the OCR FSMQ, which is an additional paper in the UK. And I was teaching them, so I was making lessons every week, and I just thought, you know what, let's put them on YouTube. And you can see by some of the viewing figures. I think all of them have got at least 2,000 or nearly 2,000 views. And it's a great thing to put on CVs to say that you've done sort of 30 odd lessons and that they've got this many views, this many likes, and this amount of support. I put it on my CV. It's probably not, advised, but I'm proud of it. So that's why I put it on there. And that's possibly going to result in a second channel coming up soon. But not too much to be said about that. And then I must have stopped Football Manager for a while and did some Minecraft when 1.9 came out. I remember it was the first update in about a year and a half on Minecraft. So that came about. I really enjoyed that series, actually. F1 2010, I did a little career mode on that, but then got me Elgato, so I was able to do F1 2015 after that. And I started some more Football Manager, Hitman. I did a World Snooker Championship preview that year as well, which was quite fun. It did alright at the time. Snooker Nation Championship, which I know is a favourite of Toby's. And then, just basically this Journeyman save, which was probably my favourite ever save on Football Manager until this year's Journeyman. So I was quite proud of that one. And then I did a Let's Play on Uncharted for some reason. I really don't know why. But
you keep spelling wrong.
Yeah, because I was using copy and paste function on every title, because I spelled thief wrong in the first one, I ended up spelling it wrong in all the others. I have since changed part 1 to be correct, but I couldn't be bothered to do whatever, 20 episodes or whatever it was. And you can see my old style of thumbnail as well, with the little box in the corner. I did all these on Paint. I sort of made the basic thing on PowerPoint, and then I put the number and stuff in on Paint, which, very much a budget way to do it, but I was fine with it, and it wasn't a problem for a long time, really, until we got to the Photoshop era, which I think started with Cricket Captain around about then, and that possibly is one of the most definitive videos I've ever made in July 2016, I think it was. Well, it must have been for Cricket Captain 2016. So, yeah, I just seen it on the Steam store, and I was like, I haven't played that since Cricket Captain 2011. I wonder what that's like. Clicked on it and recorded the first video. It ended up getting 40,000 views. And basically propelling my channel a little bit. I think at that point I was at about 150 subs, but we propelled the channel a little bit. I think it was about 450 by the September, which is when I met Rachel. So and I think she says that I was on that number when I met her. Don't know how she knows, but and I did 1 or 2 episodes on this. What was it called again? 90 Minute Fever, which is a Football Manager MMO, which was really strange, and I was, funnily enough, very bad at it. According to MZK Punk, Cricket Captain was my best series, and, there is an argument to be had about that. Definitely view-wise, it is my best series. But, to be honest with you, the amount of effort I put into those videos was zero. I literally sat down in front of a well, not even in front of a camera, in front of a microphone, recorded for 20 minutes, shoved the video out on YouTube. I put no effort into my Cricket Captain stuff, and it just seems to work for people. Me just basically commentating over what's happening. I don't do anything tactically. I don't generally change the squad very much. I just press spacebar and commentate and say, "Oh, he's out. Oh, that was close." And it's crazy. It's crazy how well it did. I think you got that many because Cricket Captain is an untapped market, and that is bang on the money there. If you search Cricket Captain, nowadays there's probably 3, 4, 5 people doing it, but at the time there was nobody. I think it was me and then the Cricket Captain trailer. I don't think there was anybody, and some dodgy videos where it's like, how to get Cricket Captain for free, which, is a very annoying comment on videos. How do I get this for free? Well, I don't know. I bought it. But that's a discussion for another day. We then went on. We finished F1 2015 Uncharted, and we were doing. I was about 2 months ahead with Cricket Captain. I'd recorded something like 40 episodes and just put them out bi-daily. And that's what I did. I also tried to continue Kev's series when he finished Non-League to Legend in 2016. He made the save file available and he said, oh, well, if any of you want to do it on YouTube, do it. So I did, and I did a couple of episodes of it. I think I got bored of the save pretty quickly. But that's how far back me and Kev go. No, I'm joking. And then we did Cricket Captain for a long while before F1 2016 came out. I actually worked really hard on that, doing the qualifying reports, editing videos down for probably the first time ever. And it didn't do that well, to be honest with you, but hey-ho. And then started some A-level maths things, which I stopped, which we'll get to in a minute. And the start of retro games, which has made a little bit of a return recently. Started with Tomorrow Never Dies. It was quite a good playthrough, actually, on the PS1. I was playing them on my PS3, so that I could sort of record the footage. And that was really fun, playing through old games. And as you can see, I still had the odd Journeyman episode here and there. And then did some FIFA, which, it's my channel. FIFA doesn't do well. Although 1.6k watched my Ultimate Team video. I don't know why, because I am terrible at FIFA nowadays. And then, you what?
Like how you say nowadays.
Nowadays, yeah. I used to actually be quite good at FIFA. But I just don't play it enough now, and I think to be competitive on FIFA you have to play it most days now. You can't be a casual player and do well, especially in Ultimate Team. You might be able to do well in career mode, but yeah. And then FM17 dropped, and I did the Sunderland project, hoping to replicate my Everton successes, which it didn't really, and I think that's because I got ill. I have 5 episodes in FM17. I basically had a really sore throat one day, and I looked in the mirror and opened my mouth. This is a bit graphic, but there was loads of like sort of white spots on the back of my throat. So I thought it was tonsillitis because I'd had it before. Went to the doctors. She confirmed it as tonsillitis, but then I was getting worse and worse throughout the week despite the antibiotics, and by the Friday I was rushed into hospital, and
Sounds very dramatic.
It was like I had a hole about that big to breathe out of, apparently, and I just got worse and worse over the weekend. Had to have surgery to remove heavily infected tonsils, and I actually had glandular fever, which is an awful well, it's not a disease but illness, and that knocked me out for 3-4 weeks of YouTube, and I think that's what ruined my FM17 stuff, and I didn't really recover that until this year. So we did that. We did a bit of Motorsport Manager. I'd say I was probably back on my feet by the Christmas time, which was good, convenient. Still doing some Cricket Captain 2016 here, which I'm surprised about. And I finished Sunderland after 3 seasons. We won the Europa League in the 3rd season, which was pretty good. One of my best achievements in Football Manager, actually. And then we started Non-League to Legend. Because I apparently was copying Kev. Because, Kev was incredibly successful. Or still is. He still is. And he was the kind of role model in the community at that time. Because even Loki Doki wasn't as big as Kev back then. And I started with Gateshead. Another really fun series, actually. I got Gateshead up to League One. Nearly got them promoted to the Championship, but we ran out of steam, ended up going to Rangers, And then I did a Cricket Captain mini-series, which, you know, to this day has probably made me hate Cricket Captain, you know, infinitely more than I did. I think I enjoyed it up to the point I did this series, and simply because we just kept losing and there was nothing that I could do to stop it, and it was really, really frustrating. I ended up rage quitting one of the episodes, and that was it for Cricket Captain 2016. There was nothing else for that after that episode. I did something called the Challenge Wheel of Fortune, which I think I discussed with maybe discussed with Toby at the time. And I think, well, I definitely thought it was a really good idea. You know, it didn't get the most amount of views. It got some decent viewing figures, but these are retrospective, do you know what I mean? At the time, I'm pretty sure they were getting something like 10, 12, 18, you know, double old lady players as target, but, you know, nonetheless, it was a bit demoralising. And at the same time, non-league to legend was tanking a bit. Cricket Captain still going strong. And then we started Life After Wenger, and that was sort of my coming back of FM17. That did really, really well, and I know, Toby, you loved that series, or at least by your comments you loved it, and you certainly think this was a decisive moment in my channel, and you know, I'm inclined to agree. I was probably a year before my time.
There we go.
You know, obviously Wenger was out about a year after I did this series, but no, it was really fun. I think we did 4 seasons in the end. You can see a rogue Take That video in there when I went to go and see Take That. I uploaded all my mobile phone footage from that night. If you want to watch some good Take That, then go and watch
Don't watch that.
Cricket Captain must have been a very challenging game to play through. 100%. 100%. Yes, I have had a good week, Aaron. How are you? I'm just going to read the comments a little bit because I feel like I've neglected you all. Have we talked about thoughts on Massa? We haven't, actually, but that is something that we'll probably talk about next week. What a fortune teller. Exactly. Started Motorsport Manager, which has done a lot better than I remember it doing. 3k views on episode 1. You know, over 100 views on pretty much every episode. Not too bad. I started an ill-fated bottom to top challenge with Shields, which I got bored with, to be perfectly honest. I think we did a fair few episodes, but just tanked in terms of views. By this point, I think I was just about over 1,000 subscribers. Can't really remember. I know I started 2017 with 600 subscribers. So I was probably at about 1,000 then. I then went to Italy and got some F1 simulator footage, and 138 views on that, considering it was a spontaneous video. Not too bad. I am pretty proud of what I did in that car. I crashed it a lot, but I was actually only 19 seconds off Michael Schumacher's lap record around there, which I was really proud of after 12 minutes in an F1 car. So 19 seconds, that's what you've got to beat, Toby, when you go on a simulator. But and then Cricket Captain 2017 came out, and I remember it well. I was out for I was waiting around all day for it to come out. Got to about 6:30, went out for a curry. We were going out with friends, and I remember it came out at about 8 o'clock. So I finished my curry and ran home, and I did that video. And to be fair, 19,000 views, like, is very good. Don't get me wrong. But it's only half as successful as Cricket Captain 2016. And I think my videos have improved a lot since that time. And that just didn't do as well. I think SEO is better, which is something else we could talk about on another podcast. But yeah, I don't know whether it's just the thumbnail, maybe, but I think it's a better thumbnail, but maybe because it's less predominantly Cricket Captain, maybe that is a reason that it's done half as well. But it did very well, to be fair. I remember you making some calculations early on, and it was averaging 600 views an episode, wasn't it, at some point? Which at the time it came out was fantastic. There's the draft mode with Toby, home of the famous 19-1 victory for Captain Goodspeed in the last match. Then did a couple of videos with Rachel, so if you want to know what Rachel looks like and sounds like, go in that video there. Then brought retro games back as well. We did a few episodes of 24 the game and SOCOM US Navy SEALs. We also did F1 Challenge, which actually has done pretty well. 385 views on episode 1.
Seems
And
like
then
5 minutes ago that does.
Sorry?
Seems like 5 minutes ago that does.
I know, crazy, isn't it? And then, because Road to World #1 was doing brilliantly in Cricket Captain, I thought, oh, genius, let's do a Road to World #1 with England in Football Manager. And let's just say it didn't do as well as Cricket Captain. No, oh, sorry. I've just bashed me mic. I'm very sorry about that. Cricket games in general are an untapped market. Agreed. We'll talk about that very soon. Nobody actually has a... Nobody has been... I don't get it. Oh, able to make a decent cricket game. EA did back in the day.
Back in the day.
And then did Crime Night with NCIS. Did a couple of experiments that tanked, to be honest. And then we moved on. F1 2017, which starred the co-host of this podcast, doing the qualifying report. And that did all right, to be honest with you. Enjoyed it. Something I thought would do a lot better was the F1 2017 car comparisons. I thought they would do a lot better. They didn't. 41 views on the Red Bull one, retrospectively, is pathetic. I just don't know why that happened. Ended up leaving Force India in my Motorsport Manager series to join Ferrari, and
that was a bad decision, wasn't it?
It was. Well, I mean, I wasn't enjoying it anyway. That just compounded my lack of enjoyment. And then the Palace Push. That was my last FM 17 save. It was basically just after the season started. They lost the first 6 matches, I think it was. It turned out to be 7 in the end. But I thought, let's do a series on them, see if we can do any better. Can't remember where we finished. I think it might have been about 12th or something. But we did a season with them. And that was my last series. But I think the Road to World #1 with England might have actually ended up being my last video on FM 17. Did a bit on FIFA. Again, not very successful. I will not be doing that next year. And then I was starting to think about FM 18, and obviously released a couple of videos in the week leading up to it, episode 0s. I did originally plan to do 2 series at the same time with the Journeyman and the Hexagon Challenge, until I realised that all 6 continents are not in Football Manager. Obviously Antarctica wouldn't be anyway, but Oceania wasn't a playable continent on FM, so I couldn't do it, and that really frustrated me. So after 2 episodes, I basically called that off, and well, delayed it actually, but never came back to it. You'd have to unlock it. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I'll let Toby deal with the chat. If
I've got no idea.
But I was doing the Journeyman daily for a long time, and that's one of my favourite series of all time, if not my favourite series, and that's why there's nearly 150 episodes. That's by far the biggest series ever on my channel. I did a Spurs beta save as well. We've just had some Streamlabs action. 2 hours weekly is just subscribed, so thank you for that. And then Ashes Cricket came. Where's Ashes Cricket? Well, I'm looking for it. Where is it? There it is. There we go. I remember
this doing decently.
You what?
I remember this doing decently.
Nah, it tanked. It absolutely no. I remember I came through the door on the 15th
and you went,
of November.
You ran upstairs.
Yeah, well, I didn't actually. I think I left it on the side for about half an hour or so while I recorded some FM.
Be small.
So, yeah, Ash's Cricket came on the 15th. It was released on the 16th. So I got it a day early, just by chance, and uploaded a video, and it's my biggest video ever. 55,000 views that has now on the channel. Again, I think it was a rubbish video that I made, but it did well. It did really, really well. And, you know, I probably got a few subscribers from that. I'm not entirely sure how many I got from it. I think we were looking at it, and a lot of people that have watched that aren't subscribed to my channel. So, you know, it's a bit skewed. Obviously, I've only got 3,000 subscribers, so 52,000 people that watched it didn't click subscribe, at least. And we, of course, know that all 3,000 subs didn't come from that one video. So, yeah, absolutely crazy how that did. And, you know, I am proud of it. But it was a frustrating game to play, which we'll get to. LA Noir also started that day, I think, and got 250 views, which isn't too shabby at all for a game that's essentially 7-year-old now. We did a bit on FM 08, which has got 2.2k views now. I didn't know that. And I was doing some simulation into the future. Where's me 50 years video? Where is it? Where's it gone?
You've all watched it 17 times.
Yeah. Yes. I can't find me 50 years in the future video. But anyway, I started doing them. 7.8 thousand people watched the 250 years in the future video, which is crazy. You can see the Journeyman is just a constant throughout all of this. I did the Turkish Delight for 3 episodes, which was awful. And I remember...
You really enjoyed that.
You are?
I thought you really enjoyed that.
And then I did an analytics review, and that was simply because November was my best ever month on YouTube. I got so many views, so many subscribers, so much money. You know, £70 that month, which is quite a lot of money. You know, to come out of the blue. I was making, what, £10, £15 a month before that? And I earned 70 quid that month, and that basically paid for Ash's Cricket and Football Manager, and it was great. I was living the life. The next month I earned 60 quid, which was fantastic. These days, I was earning about £30 until a few days ago when AO Tennis started skyrocketing, and, you know, it's moved up a little bit in the world now. But I did the draft with Lelujo, which was, you know, a great honour to do that, of course. One of only about 4 people that actually got to do it. So very proud of that. Obviously honoured to be asked by Kev. And he's obviously been on this podcast since then, which was a great episode as well. I remember we did our streams. This is what gave us the idea for the podcast, actually. We did the squad announcement video in... when would it have been? I can't quite find it. It's not actually... I feel like some of my videos aren't showing up, but yeah. Anyway, we did a squad announcement. That ended up getting about 2,000 views, which is crazy. And then we moved on into the new year. Did AO Tennis on iOS, a first look video, sounds familiar. And then a Let's Play, both over 1,000, which for an iPhone game that I picked up for free, not too shabby. I took a break from YouTube at the end of January. Won't go into that too much, but you know, if you want to know why, go and watch that video. Came back, was continuing with FM18, and then we beat Man City 9-1, which was an absolutely fantastic match. It was brilliant. Started the top 10 games of all time series, which I'm really enjoying doing. It's not necessarily getting the most amount of views, but who cares? AO Tennis. Now that came through the post. I got it 3 months or 4 months before the rest of Europe because I bought it from Australia, so it took 2 weeks to get here. came through the door, ran upstairs, as Toby said before, and recorded a video. And it didn't actually do that well, first of all. But the last few weeks, it's been doing fantastically because it was released worldwide. 7.1 thousand people have now watched that video, which is crazy. 100 episodes of The Journeyman. I think one of the best videos I've ever made. I don't know about you, Toby. I know you've watched the 100th episode of The Journeyman, which was the best of highlights.
Very exciting, yeah.
And that was...
A lot of work into that as well, didn't it?
Yeah, that took probably about a week of spending nights putting together clips, putting together music. It was... I'm really, really proud of that video. And then the podcast started. You know,
Yeah.
the podcast we're talking on now, and you know, it's lasted 13 episodes. We don't always get the biggest amount of viewership, but somehow we've managed to engage people this episode, because it's been a constant 14 or 13 that I've been watching, so hopefully you're enjoying just having a trip down memory lane with us. And I was given my first free game by a developer. Contrary to belief, I do still buy my games. But this one was given to me by developers. Who's this subscribing? Andrea Vermicati. Or Vimachati. There we go, we'll go for
Game was the developers Full Ace?
Sorry?
What game were you given by developers? Was it Full Ace?
Yeah, Full Ace Tennis Simulator. Which has got 4.3k views now. It was just...
Then he did no more videos on it.
I didn't. I did plan to. And
Look how brilliantly Joe treats his suppliers.
And I have played it since. I just simply didn't have the time to do any more episodes on it. And, you know, that was true about AO Tennis as well. You know, you've got episode 9 there. Episode 10 didn't come out until 3 months later. So, pretty crazy. I did the Red Devil Redemption, which I get reminded about in the chat a lot. About how I did that for 5 episodes.
I made a whole intro segment to that.
I know. The intro was pretty good, though, I've got to say. And it was all about using the green screen a little bit more. And, you know, it's just a time-consuming thing to think of something to record it. Then we had the big podcast with Kev, which was brilliant. Really enjoyed that. Football Manager Esports, which was a great opportunity, and I don't think I would have ever managed to get there without doing YouTube, or people support me on YouTube, so a big thank you for that. And then we just push on now, really. There's not much else to say. I started a snooker playthrough which surpassed my expectations massively, to say the least. And then the World Cup Challenge started as well. Before finishing off with some tennis here. We've got to finish off with some tennis since it's a topical thing. AO Tennis brought that back, coincidentally actually, the night before it came out worldwide, and I had no idea about that. And managed to do really well actually. But then my save file got corrupted and we lost that, so whether AO Tennis will be continuing...
Just quickly. There's no news on Cricket Captain 2018, okay?
Okay, is somebody asking?
Yeah, Aaron Hart's been asking for about half an hour.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and then Tennis World Tour started today, which I'm very proud with how the videos are doing. Episode 2's actually gone over 1,000 now, which is brilliant. So thank you for all the support with that. We've obviously started the Retro Showcase as well. I've got plenty of plans for that, and that did not too badly either. So yeah, that is my channel. I know it took a while, but 1,500 videos is quite a lot to get through.
Yeah.
So yeah, long-term goals for me, I said at the start of the year, 10,000 by the end of this year is my ambition. I think my goal, so to speak, is 5,000. The ambition is 10,000. And to have sort of 500 people watching every video, I think that is what I want. I want people interacting and watching and enjoying the content and just making better videos and to keep enjoying it. I think that's That's what we want to do. Lots of people love the snooker, which is fantastic. Yes, some people like AO Tennis better than Tennis World Tour. We've had a big debate about that today in the comment sections. I think I've had my most commented video ever today. I think there's about 200 comments on that, which I've replied to pretty much all of them, so I'm pretty happy with that. I couldn't do it every day, so I can see why big YouTubers do not reply to their viewers, because if you think about it, you've got 200 comments on one video and then the rest of the videos as well. It would just get crazy. I'm not enjoying the podcast when Joe does not read your comment. I mean, have a bit of thought about it. I've just been talking about my channel for about half an hour, but yeah, I mean that takes us up to 9 o'clock. I don't think we're quite finished yet. I don't know about you, but unless you are finished, I don't know. How do you feel?
Go on, you can carry on for a bit.
Yeah. So yeah, what do you guys think about our channels? And what do you enjoy?
You can say whatever you want. Don't be afraid. I've heard it all. I've heard it all in my life. Crap, brilliant, mesmerising, beautiful, inspiration.
Thanks, TIJ. At least you answered my comment. I mean, you know what, Aaron? Okay. Right. Love me some bit of Joe Snooker action. Thoughts on the potential new Arsenal manager, Emery? I mean, it could have been a lot worse.
Next week, Jobby, I think.
Yeah. I think. Yeah.
Get back on the discussion. Biggest regret of your time on YouTube?
Oh dear. Now, I've spoke to this at length with many people, and they are always very surprised when I say this, but ever doing cricket on my channel. Like, it sounds absolutely ridiculous because it's my biggest videos, probably where most of my subs come from, all of the other. But I feel like because I've done cricket in the past, I feel like people... I think people expect cricket content on the channel now. Toby's just had a wonderful compliment in the chat as well, which is wonderful for Toby. Just biting me tongue. I'll say that. Yeah. So yeah, doing cricket. Yeah, I think people expect it. People think this is a cricket channel, which, as we've seen, it definitely isn't. It's variety centered around Football Manager. If you look at the timeline, and yeah, that's the only game that's really kept through all of the bad views at times has been doing me Football Manager, and I know. I guess it is a regret in a way. But in other ways, it's brought about a lot of opportunities to speak to developers and stuff like that, and obviously have a bigger audience, which is always nice. But yeah, that's just the way I feel about it. I don't know. What would you say? My question to you is, if you were given something to change about my channel, what would it be?
Ooh, where do I start?
And not give all my subscribers to you. You know.
There's nothing obvious. I'm not being, I'm not thinking, well, I've got loads of ideas in my head, but I never upset. There's nothing obvious. I think integrity-wise, the channel's good. There's the variety of stuff. When people come, it's not just Football Manager. So genuinely, if you don't like FM content, then there's always something else. I don't really know. I feel like if you give me mine, then it might give me a bit of inspiration. So I'll have to.
I think what I would change about your channel is the sort of consistency. I think we've spoke about it a lot, and I think it's what you would change as well. I think when we look through your timeline, there is just gaps somewhere, and it seems with your channel, just as things are getting started, something seems to get in the way, whether it's your fault or not. Do you know what I mean? And it's, it's not necessarily something I would get you to change, but if I was to change something about your channel, then that's what it would be. Yeah.
Like, I genuinely can't think, because what you've done, I mean, yes, I agree with the cricket comment to an extent, but at the same time, you don't have to do cricket again. Ever. Because whilst you might have 10%, even 20% of those subscribers go off and moan, how are you going to regain those over time? B, a lot of those subscribers, I was one of those Cricket Captain subscribers. A lot of those subscribers like FM. Funnily enough, there's a link between people who like Cricket Captain and Football Manager because they're both management games. So I think there could have been a lot worse things that could have gone boom on you. For example, I know the maths did well, but if the cricket was substituted with the maths, I feel like that would have been a bigger problem. Because that's an entirely different concept. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like, the people that have subs for me maths stuff aren't going to be watching me game and stuff.
No, there's a very small niche in people who like gaming content and people who want to watch, whatever unit you were covering. Certainly not me now. I don't fall into that category. But I feel like with your channel, all the integral stuff is there. This is not a compliment. I can assure you of that, because I don't do compliments.
Oh, that's interesting news that's just come through via DJam.
Yeah, I knew that yesterday.
Okay.
I did.
Okay. No, it's just me obviously not reading the news or something. So.
Yeah. Again, I think we'll have a good football chat next week, but bit daft after 9 o'clock to start talking about other topics. You've got the variety, you're hardworking. That's proven by the one summer that you did 3 videos a day. Not saying that was good for your health.
You know what? It wasn't even bad on my health. I just don't know why I did it.
Yeah.
Especially releasing 3 videos within 4 hours. That seems stupid.
That, to me, proves your commitment to the cause. If you were willing to do that for a long... That's what I feel the problem is with me. I get an idea in my head. I'm really looking, really happy with it for 2-3 weeks. And then after that, I'm not committed to it, which could go for a lot of things in my life. I feel like it's very much short bursts, Sometimes it'll be YouTube I'm focused on, then it'll be another hobby. So it's tricky because there are a lot of things, education gets in the way, exams, life in general gets in the way. We all know that, but life isn't just about YouTube. Life can be tricky sometimes. Things happen, and not so much that things happen, not so much that bad things happen or whatever happens, but what happens is that things get in the way, and by the time you come back to do something, your passion's gone for it, or the idea. Because bear in mind with YouTube, it's a crap analogy, but it's not like fishing, because fishing you do exactly the same thing every time, or very similar. Whereas with YouTube, it covers a very vast amount of things. You can be making FM content, you can be making bread, you can be jumping off the Empire State Building, bungee jumping obviously. So I feel like what I don't quite know what I'm trying to say, but no, I don't know what I'm trying to say, so forget that. But it's a very interesting topic with YouTube, and as we say, we could go on for hours, but for me, it's something that now, I'm 17, maybe I started it a bit too early, maybe not, I've got the experience now that I need. And
yeah,
I feel like,
we forget you're 3 years younger than me, like...
And I feel like now, looking at it from a business point of view, I've just got to get on with it. I can't be... Because even though it's not a business for me at the moment, I like to think it is. Because that's one of the things that drives me to do it.
Give me 2 seconds. I've just got to let the cat out. Carry on.
Right, I've got access to his channel. So, do you reckon I'll go in and like delete everything? What do we think, everyone? Joe saw exactly. But for me, I mean, there's obviously a few of you that do YouTube in the comments. I would be very interested just to see.
I'm back.
You know what you guys have thought, whether you've had, because the biggest problem with me, which is something we can go into before we finish, we don't want to go on too long. Motivation, because for me, that is the killer in general. Not so much in YouTube, but
in life.
for all things in life.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Genuinely, because apart from
do
education,
it. What's he saying? What were you threatening to do?
Nothing. I don't know what anybody's on about. You might have to go back and see that. But apart from education, going to school, because obviously you've got to do that. But anything else that's vocational, I really struggle with, because my motivation is so mixed. And 1 minute I'll be, really happy about it, really joyous, and then 1 second I'll be going, hold on, this isn't right. And once I kind of hit that switch of negativity, there's no coming back. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
As soon as there's an ounce of negativity, it's not right.
Mm.
And that's what I feel like, a lot of things in life come down to. And which is a real shame, but I feel like it's going to sound really negative and really sort of begging of me, but the only thing that's going to motivate me now is consistent increases in subscribers, consistent increases in views, which, to be fair, when I was doing consistent content, I was getting.
Mm.
But when you look at other people and see that they're doing better, it is a bit demotivating. And then you get into that whole thing of looking at yourself, thinking, well, I haven't done a good job. And then you get even more depressed because you're thinking, well, it's my fault. Can't really get crying to anyone because it's me who's done this, nobody else. And that's with all things that's competitive. In the end of the day,
mm-hmm.
with most things, I'm not a competitive person. With sports, I'm not particularly competitive. But if it's something
Apart from karting, of course.
Let me get onto that. The things I'm good at, let's hold that one over to debate, shall we, about karting, whether I'm good at that or not. But at the end of the day, stuff I'm good at, I'm competitive with. Oh God, Rob. That's the last thing I'm thinking about. Oh, actually, yeah, Max Verstappen. He's probably
That's the last thing, is it?
Right. Yeah. I think about Roger Whittaker before I think about that.
Yeah, you know what, Toby? That really doesn't surprise us.
You know what I was thinking of today? I was thinking about a musical hierarchy and where I'd put everyone. So, no, that's very much at the back of my mind. Because I'm not going to say what I was going to say. Because I feel like we could get into a whole different debate, and that this podcast would probably hold me a little bit less than it already does. And it can't really get much less. So I feel like we potentially leave it there, or else I'm going to say something I regret.
I really don't know what's going on now. I don't know what to say. I don't know whether to laugh. I don't know whether to cry. I don't know whether to console you. I really don't know. But that's certainly been an interesting discussion there from Toby. I'll take over for a little bit about motivation. And to be fair, I think apart from spending time with Rachel and doing stuff with friends, YouTube is the only real other thing I enjoy doing. And that's probably why I do so much of it. Obviously I like playing games, but games are generally more fun when you're doing YouTube with them. So that's my motivation behind it, just to enjoy myself, and I think that's what's held me in such good stead with it. But I think that is about that for this podcast. Definitely laugh, Joe. Chuckle.
Go on.
Something needs to make me laugh.
Put a funny joke in the comments. Go on.
D-Jam, I'm sure we'll invite you on the podcast sometime. He has been hinting at it quite a lot in the chat tonight. I'm sure we'll invite you on for some sort of discussion or other. It'll actually be the 10 episode anniversary since the guest of Kev. Next
I thought you were
time.
going to say the ghost of Kev.
The ghost of Kev. But yeah, we won't be doing the podcast on Tuesday because I have an exam Tuesday, Wednesday next week. So the podcast might even take a break next week. I don't know if you're free Thursday. I know we do like a Thursday instead of a Tuesday, but I don't know if you're free. So we'll discuss that.
I'm off next week, so I should be all right.
Okay, well, probably be Thursday for the podcast next week. I will not be streaming tomorrow. I have an exam on Thursday, so instead, the stream will be on Thursday, as far as I'm aware at the moment. And it'll probably be... is that how you get onto the show? Because I could hint like that. Well, OLP, you're always welcome. You are always welcome. But we need somebody to be mods. You know, we can't have all the mods on the stream, can we? So, yeah, I won't be streaming tomorrow. I'll be streaming Thursday instead. And, yeah, we'll work something out for next week as and when. So, thank you very much for coming along to the podcast tonight. It's been a very consistent and pretty rowdy crowd as well. You know, rowdy in a good way. A long exam Tuesday, Wednesday, 48-hour exam. Yeah, it'll feel like it, don't worry. But no, peak concurrent of 17 people in the podcast tonight. So I think we are getting there in terms of viewership. Thank you very much for D-Jam wants to be a mod. Well, maybe if you turn up to next week's podcast, we might have a discussion about it at least. When are my exams finishing? 8th of June. When are yours, Toby?
It's Friday. I've only got
there you go. There you go. So Toby won't be in the stream on Thursday, no doubt, because he'll be
I will,
swatting.
to be fair. So I've got 3 days to revise, so none of that stuff on the evening.
No, so are you just about finished after you... I don't even know whether to shall I call it a motivational speech just for the pun? You know?
Demotivational speech.
Never mind. But no, thank you very much for coming. Did you say you had anything else to say? No. Thank you very much for coming along for episode 13 of the Tuesday Night Live podcast, and we'll be back probably not on Tuesday. Well, definitely not on Tuesday. So yeah, it'll be a Thursday night podcast. I can just see it coming. It was a good chat, and thank you for everybody talking back at us as well and listening to us rambling. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.